favorite parts of our day is morning basket time. So I know that's kind of become a buzzword in the homeschooling community, morning basket. If you want to know more about what morning basket is and how it works in our everyday life, you can find it's one of the early episodes of my podcast, No Higher Calling. You can find it on there, Creating a Morning Basket Routine. But just quickly in a nutshell, what is morning basket? So it's basically just a basket that has a bunch of different books or resources that we are cycling through with our children. We do ours in the morning. We have about a 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour if everybody's just in a really good mood and things are going well. But this is kind of how we kick off our morning. So after breakfast, after our kind of family Bible time at breakfast, we transition into morning basket before we jump into our actual school day. And it's just a great time to get everybody together. We usually start our morning basket time with prayer. So we just try to share a few very specific prayer requests to that day. Each kid takes a request and prays for them. We spend some time singing. I have a book that we're working through, learning some different Bible songs. We're going through my book that I wrote, Great Hymns for Growing Hearts, learning some of the great hymns of the faith. So we have a little bit of a worship time, singing songs. We have a box full of little instruments and shaker eggs, so the kids love to get that out, and we just have a little party with it. So that's fun. And then we have a basket that just has a lineup of various different books and resources on all different types of topics, and we just cycle our way through those. So one day we might do our book that's about music, and then the next day we're gonna put that one in the back, and then we'll do history the next day, and just books that we kind of rotate through to give us a really rich variety of exposure to many different things. And I love this. I had somebody ask me one time, what ages should you start this at? You can start this at just little ones, little babies. Now, obviously, your morning basket is going to look different to mine. I'm going to show you my morning basket, and it is very much tailored to kind of the ages of my children. I have toddler, preschool, and then first grade. But you can make a morning basket however you want, putting in books that are on your child's level. You can even make a morning basket for yourself with some books that you're reading, some devotional materials. But the idea is you're kind of like cycling through these resources so everything stays fresh. You don't get bogged down in one thing and then move on to the next thing, but you're kind of circling through to get a broad exposure to some different things. So I just wanted to show you what is in my morning basket right now. Now this changes as we finish books, as we swap things out, but currently this is my morning basket. So first and foremost, like I said, we start our time kind of with a worship time. And so we have our Bible. I have a Bible in our morning basket. We are currently studying and memorizing Psalm 91. So I believe we're up to verse like 7 or 8. But we have our Bible in our morning basket that it's just handy even throughout the day as I want to read the kids something or need something, or in school it gives a reference that Bible is right there. This morning basket is right in the middle of our living area where we just spend most of our days, so it's easily accessible. So the Bible is our first thing. Then I have several other different resources. My husband is actually reading this to our kids at breakfast, Indescribable. And we really enjoy this book. For a little while, we were doing it kind of exclusively at family devotions, but it tends to be a little more science-y than what we were looking for in a family Bible time. So still a great resource, but we pulled away from it a little bit as an exclusive family devotional thing. And we read it in the morning at our breakfast. So we just do a brief little family Bible time at breakfast, a more heavier devotional time as a family in the evening. But this gives us some fun science facts for the day and just, a peek into God's Word, something to get our hearts refreshed and ready to start the day. So that comes to breakfast with us. Then we are reading through the story of the world. So I love this resource. There are 4 volumes of these that work you from the beginning of time all the way to the current. My oldest is almost 6, and she really, really enjoys this. My son is 4. He likes the ones about kings and battles and all of those things, but it doesn't hold his attention quite as much. But I have found this so fascinating. We're currently studying through a lot of those ancient civilizations. So it's been very fascinating to learn about those. And written kind of from a Christian perspective, and so we really enjoy these, just bite-sized chapters that are written in a way that a child can understand the history of the world. So this is a great resource. We love reading through this one. We don't cycle through this one as much. We kind of read about a chapter a day in this book. This is our history, so we enjoy this. Another great resource is Geography from A to Z. So this is something that we cycle through. We don't do geography every day. I have a big map on our wall that we always have there for reference, and when we pray for missionaries and when we do talk about different geography and cultures. But this is a great little resource, especially for those little ones, that just has a picture for every geography word. So we're talking about glaciers, grasslands, what is a gulch, then we have marsh, a meander, volcano, waterfalls. You have your cataract and your cascade. We went on a hike recently and we had just read this portion. Usually we just kind of take a word or two. We had just read about waterfalls. So, my kids were like, oh, that's a cataract. Oh, that's a cascade. And it was fun to see them tie that in to a real life thing, what we had learned. So this is a good vocabulary geography source. Then I have this. I love this series, the Do Great Things for God series. So I believe we have 5 of these. They are all different women that have just given their lives to the Lord and see God do amazing things with them. We've read Corrie ten Boom. We've read Gladys Allward, several different women that have just done great things for God. And these are just kind of short, brief little stories that recap their life and share different things. But these have been just a really good introduction to kind of a biography style of story for my children, and all of my kids love this. But my son, actually, even though these are women, my son really, really loves these. And I just think it's written right on his level. He really gets engaged. He has been so captivated by the story of Gladys Allward that we read in this format. We are now reading A Christian Heroes Then and Now story of Gladys Allward, and I don't think he would be able to grasp that quite as much being his age had we not read this version of Gladys Allward first. So that's been this has been a great tool in our home. We love Usborne books. I can't say enough about how much we love Usborne books. We are in the middle of packing for an international move, and so much of the weight of the luggage that we will be taking with us is wrapped up in Usborne, but it's worth it. My children spend hours poring over their Usborne books. And they love the flat books. And this is a flat book. This is Look Inside Jobs. So this is kind of like a career community helper book that I'm reading with them to give them exposure to the different jobs that people have. And this one is just so much fun. Talking about time for work, what people do in the mornings. Talking about it takes a team here, all these different jobs that you kind of have to have teamwork to make it happen. Jobs outdoors, jobs indoors, different inventors, amazing ideas, artists, scientists, above and below. So we've got construction people and people working in, sky rises, people that help other people, that is their job, emergency personnel. Just a job journey. This is just a fun one, and we might do 1 or 2 pages because there's a lot of information, a lot of flaps, but they really enjoy doing those, and it gives them such a good exposure and variety of different jobs that are out there. So this has been a fun one to go through. Another Usborne book that we're going through that we are enjoying is the question and answers about music. So this Usborne series, these question and answer series, it asks what, how, when, which, who. And this one is all about music. Now, some of the music styles are music styles that we would listen to in our home. So some of it I might skip over, and some of it is just cultural differences or things that we don't listen to, but I still don't mind exposing my children to. So these are like, how do these instruments make sound? How high can you sing? Different things like that. Why? Why do babies love music? Why is she waving that stick? You can talk about a conductor and rhythms and things. So this one has been a really neat kind of music introduction that we are doing with our kids. Another one that I love this resource. This is just one of your classic, just every kid needs one of these treasuries, is the Read-Aloud Poems, 120 of the world's best loved poems for parent and child to share. And this one is just full of rich poems throughout the history of literature that we enjoy going through. I have some little puppets that are in a box beside our morning basket. And so oftentimes, I'll find a poem. Here's Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. And I'll have the little puppet, and the puppet will read the poem to the kids. And they just laugh. They think that's so great. So good poetry exposure for the kids. This is one we haven't delved into too much, but we're just kind of getting into this a little bit. Everyday Graces, A Child's Book of Good Manners. So I heard raving reviews about this book, so I picked it up. And it just talks about manners and social etiquette, different ways that we can honor others and prefer others and show courtesy in our culture and in our interactions and relationships with other people. So I'm just looking at the table of contents here. We have good manners at home, using our words wisely, table manners. That's been something that we've really specifically been working on with our kids. How do we set the table? How do we clean up the table? How do we interact while we're at the table? Washing and dressing, appreciating people with disabilities, out and about getting along with others, good manners in school, good sportsmanship, writing letters and invitations. That's a lost art these days. Church, weddings and funerals. What is socially acceptable in those situations? Kindness towards animals, respecting our country. So this is another just childhood treasury resource that we're just slowly, bit by bit, going to work our way through this. And these resources, it's not like, oh, the goal is to read from A to Z and then close the book and be done. It's not a story. It's more of a training tool. So this one, we may read one paragraph, but if it's about, how do you speak to an adult? You're going to make eye contact. You're going to have a pleasant face. You're going to speak up. You're going to answer their questions. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. So it kind of we read a little bit, enough to kind of prompt us to then me having a teaching opportunity with my kids. Especially in this situation, a lot of role play. I'm going to be the adult. You're going to be the kid. All right, we're going to switch. How can we put into practice the little snippet that we read? An art resource that I have is this book, Impressionism for Children. So this one is neat. It just has different paintings from the Impressionist era. It tells you when it was painted, who painted it, what the name of it is. But we just kind of use this one as just kind of like picture study. So we look at it, we talk about the colors, we talk about the shading, we talk about, what was the artist's focal point, just different ways that we kind of analyze the picture and just kind of expose them to some of this rich art that has stood the test of time. So this is just kind of a fun picture study resource that we go through. The last thing I'll show you in our current morning basket, we've had many other things throughout the years, and it just kind of keeps rotating as we finish books. But we love these little Brain Quest cards. I believe this one is, yes, ages 6 and 7. So this one is for my oldest. But these are so fun. You can get them for all different ages. But it will just have a different question, and this one is for a little more advanced. I've been going through more of the preschool ones. So we just recently got these big kid ones. So it's a little more wordy. The preschool ones have a lot more pictures. But it asks just different questions, and then on the next card, it will tell the answer. So, for example, the reading question, Harry lost his hat in the wind. How many words begin with H? Social studies, is New York City next to the Atlantic or Pacific Ocean? So you go through, ask your kids these questions, then you turn the card, and it'll have the answers. So this is just something fun. But, we'll just go through, like I said, one or two of these little cards, change things up, give them a chance to kind of get interactive and get engaged. And this is something that they enjoy going to if we just have time to kill, or they're dressed for church on Sunday waiting for mama to be ready to leave. They'll grab these and go through these. But this is what is in our current morning basket. So, like I said, if you have more questions on what is a morning basket, feel free to put them in the comments, or you can catch my episode, Creating a Morning Basket, on the No Higher Calling podcast. But I would love to hear what's in your morning basket. If you do a morning basket, feel free in the comments to share the ages of your children and some of the resources that you love. But I will try to link all of these resources in the comments there for you in case any of this is something that you might be interested in adding to your morning basket.